Hey everybody, welcome back to Two Two Stack. I'm your host Nick Taylor, and today we are going to be digging into SolidStart. So I'm gonna just go ahead and drop a link to this. Let me just get to the chat. All right, boom. There we go. We'll just put that on the jumbotron. I know Brian's in some meetings today, so he can't be around in the chat to tell me to take stuff off the jumbotron. So I will try and remember to take things down. Yeah. So we're gonna be looking at SolidStart. So the last live stream we did, which I'm gonna go and find CFE YouTube. We took a peek at SolidJS. So SolidJS is, I guess it's not a framework, I guess, that because Solid starts the meta framework, but um, I guess I'm not sure if it's considered a library. There's always the library versus framework thing, but anyways, we looked at SolidJS, which is a great client-side library that uses signals for fine-grained reactivity. So if you're coming from other frameworks uh, like if you've been doing a lot of React, you have your state and you have props and all that stuff, and then you have the virtual DOM, and then so like when state changes, the virtual DOM just goes and checks if it has any differences, and then if there are any, it goes ahead and says, okay, real DOM, here's the kind of laser focused changes I need you to make. And that works great. But with SolidJS, it kind of uh, not flips it on its head. I don't know what the best expression to say would be, but and I'm going to take this off the jumbotron. But it doesn't use the virtual DOM. So you have uh, you have these signals which are a primitive within Solid. A lot of stuff around SolidJS is based on primitives, and with these signals, basically things can subscribe to it. So like if you have a signal within a function or it's in a component, uh, things will know to rerun, but only where that signal is, and it's that signal that is going to update its value there. So if you think about it, like the classic, you have a counter in React, and you click plus 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 to increment the counter. The state changes, and then the virtual DOM checks, sees what's different, and then says updates it. With SolidJS, you basically click plus on the counter. It increments the value in the signal, and then the signal just knows it just knows to update that laser focused area. And again, it's not checking the virtual DOM to do this. It's really just like, this is where I am. I'm over here too, and I'm over here, and boom, just update me. And you'll see this when I guess it depends what's re-rendering, but basically it's not using the virtual DOM in SolidJS. So that's kind of like some of the foundations of SolidJS. And I do want to go find that previous one. I'm just going to go on to the two stack lists here. Okay, and let's go get the last one. Yeah, here it is. All right, share, copy, cool. All right, so let's just drop this. This one is intro to SolidJS, or I can't remember what I called it, but I'll go ahead and pop that up there. So that's what we looked into last time. You can check that out. So today we're going to be building off of that, and we're going to be using SolidStart, which is a meta framework for SolidJS. I'm not necessarily making this interesting in the sense that I guess what I'm saying is I haven't used SolidStart at all yet. I didn't look at the docs or anything because I kind of want to just look at it with like literally just fresh, like just happening for the first time for a couple reasons. Uh, if I notice anything in the docs, I'll probably take some notes, and maybe I'll create some issues or even pull requests if there is stuff that maybe is missing. I know they have really solid documentation though in general, so I'm not expecting that to happen. But I just kind of want to go through it. I didn't really want to go through it offline first and then do it, and then like, I just kind of want to experience it live for the first time. So it's a bit of YOLO, I know, but that's how I roll. So let's take a peek here, and I just got to go check something on socials real quick. I think I forgot to tweet out that we're live on X. Yes, I did. Okay, cool. There we go. Okay, just gonna take a sip of beverage. My good old school Dev 2 mug. Okay, let's switch over to my screen here, and there we go. Here we go. Okay, and let's just go ahead and bump this up a bit. So yeah, so basically, SolidStart is a fine grain reactivity that goes full stack. So we're gonna go ahead and create a project in a second here, but so we've got the client side aspect with signals and JSX stuff that even if you're coming from React, that's a lot of familiarity just because of JSX, which I think is a smart move for a couple reasons. One, there's the familiarity, but also there's so much IDE tooling already built for JSX that I think it was a really good move to do that. And you've seen this happen too with like Quick, which is another framework from the folks over at Builder.io, from created by Mishko Hevery, who created Angular. Again, I think they probably went with JSX as well for the same reasons, familiarity and just not having to build up all this IDE tooling because it's people have already done it. And also TypeScript. TypeScript supports JSX as well. Yeah, PNPM is Ryan, or at least the doc team's favorite. And also, thanks for joining us, Ode. I've typically used uh, NPM generally, not because I don't like PNPM, but uh, I know it got really popular over the past couple of years. So we're gonna go ahead with PNPM today, but I'm just gonna make sure I have a latest version of PNPM. So let's just open this up and boom, boom, boom. I don't know if it's PNPM update. No. What was it? NPM update PNPM, I think. Okay, wait. Let's see what the version is. 9.6, that seems okay. Let's go and see here. PNPM version. Latest version is 9.12.2. So, okay. All right. So let's put in the latest maybe. So let's do npm install pnpm at latest dash g. All right. Let's see now. Still 9.6. Whatever. It's probably fine. All right. Cool, cool, cool. Okay. And let's see here. I'm in my root, so I'm going to go to my dev folder, and I'm going to go to streams. And this is where we will go ahead and create the project, I think. So I'm going to move this over here. Okay. So I think you should be able to see this okay. And you know what? Maybe we can go halvesies here for now. Okay. So I'm going to go ahead and pnpm create solid. Oh, that's just some formatting there. Okay, cool. All right. So let's give it a name. We'll just say CFE solid start. And let's go ahead with that. Okay, I gotta move my mic down for a second. I can't see it. Is this a solid start project? Yes, it is. Okay. Let me go to the get started to see what they recommend starting with. And I'll just zoom. Whoops, don't want to print, want to zoom in. Okay. So overview, features. Yeah, let's just talk a bit about this first before I actually continue installing here. So solid start here. There we go. So like it's saying, it's a meta framework like I was mentioning, and it unifies a bunch of things. So it's built on top of Solid, like I was saying. Also Vinci. So Vinci is here. Let's just go to here. Boom, boom, boom. So it's a full stack JavaScript SDK. This is from uh, Nikal Saraf. I think that's how you say his name. I'm not sure. He's on the SolidJS core team or the Solid org, and he built this a while ago. And to give some context to this, so Vinci is used for SolidStart, but also TanStack Start is using Vinci as well. And this allows you to probably have server actions and other things like that, and like server side story stuff. And okay, yeah, so it's saying Vinci is an agnostic framework bundler that combines Vite and Nitro. So Vite, I think most people are familiar with. It's like a build tool for the front end, pretty popular. And then there's Nitro. So Nitro is this came out of the Nuxt.js team, I believe, and it's more agnostic now, but just got all kinds of tooling here so that you don't have to worry where you deploy. So for example, if you need storage and you're deploying to Vercel, it'll use Vercel storage. If you deploy to Netlify, it'll use Netlify storage, et cetera, et cetera. So the goal is to like just just make things easier for you to build stuff pretty much. Um, okay, yeah, so that's essentially it. And so we can do a few things here. So SolidStart supports client-side rendering, which is, you know, CSR, where it's just pretty much like spot only. You can have server-side rendering. So with this, oh yeah, it's under on.js. Okay, yeah, thanks, Ode. Yeah, it's with like Anthony Fu and crew. There's a bunch of great stuff under on.js. Um, yeah, so with the server side rendering, you can obviously server side render pages, but this probably also gives you the superpowers to have like server actions and stuff like that. And it looks like you can also use this for SSG, so for static site generation. And yeah, it can be isomorphic. So uh, yeah, so basically you can have the best of all the worlds you want, and you can probably mix it up too as a multi-page app. And we'll just go through quickly high level features. So the fine grained reactivity, which you get from Solid, obviously. You get isomorphic nested routing. So the same routes are rendered regardless of the pages on the client or server. That's cool. Because that, yeah, it's good to mention this because like when people think of client side components, whatever framework you're using, they still get rendered on the server. It's not like spa mode where you just have like this shell of nothing and then everything just hydrates on the client side. When you're coming from the server side, it's going to render it there first, and then you'll get the interactivity once you're on the client side, obviously. Looks like it's got CLI templates and some deployment presets. So the deployment presets, kind of what I was mentioning before, Netlify, Vercel, AWS, Cloudflare, wherever. I wonder if there's one for SST as well from for the folks over there, Dax and crew. And okay, so let's just see prerequisites. Yes, I do have a basic understanding of web development. Okay, all that stuff. And we did take a dive into SolidJS last time, so I think we're all good there. So let's just go back and let's just continue over here. Let's get started. Okay, so I think we're just gonna go with the basic. I don't need the Hacker News one or anything. Well, because it looks like basically the stuff we're building out here, it's going to be. It doesn't seem like anything preset. So let's just go with basic. Yes, I am going to use TypeScript. All right. And we're pretty much done. So let's go to CFE solid start. Let's do pnpm install. All right. And let's bring this over here. And let's just do, what is it? pnpm dev? Yeah, that's what it was. Boom. Let's bring this down. pnpm dev. And boom, we should be on port 3000. Cool. And there we go. And then we've got the classic. There we go. And then, oh, this is cache. This is from my last one because I did this oh no's. I wonder, is there a service worker or what's going on here? I'm just gonna clear. I explicitly remember adding that oh no's. So just refresh this. Really? It's still got it? All right. I got to see if there's a service worker. I don't think there is, but Um, Side note, but this is something I've seen happen in the past. No, there's nothing. Okay. All right. So unless they added this, but I'm pretty sure this is what I did in the last one. So let's do look. Yeah, it's not in the code. Oh, actually, let's open up the code. So here, let's bump this down a bit, and I'm gonna take that intro down because I'm leaving it hanging too long there. All right, so let's just open up VS Code right in this folder, and oh, interesting. Oh, I know what I did wrong. I opened the last live stream code base, not this one. So I'll CFE solid start. That would help. CCFE solid start. There we go. Okay. Now we should be good. Okay, so let's do pnpm dev. Oh, maybe install. Yeah, I installed the wrong stuff and everything. Okay, cool. Now we're on the solid start one. Nice to see TypeScript and ESLint restarting there. Okay, cool. Let's do pnpm dev. Okay, Vinci's running, which makes more sense. Okay, there we go. Okay, so we have liftoff. All right, cool. And then we got this. There we go. Okay, let's go back to the docs and solid start. So let's get started. Yes, we did. Oh, I didn't do it this way. The other way worked too, but um, no, that's solid start. No, that's solid start. That's right. Okay, we got that already. Yeah. Okay. Okay, this is just gonna go through all the solid start docs, I think. Routing, or maybe this is. Oh no, this is solid start stuff. Okay. Sorry, I got confused for a sec there. It's been a week. All right. Cool. Let's just take a peek in here. Yeah, so like I said, it's using Vinci, and you can see we have it running there. We got our hello world, and let's just look at the structure here. So we got routes. So this is file-based routing. So this is pretty normal. So like we come in here in the index, that makes sense. And then if we just say here like yo, and we come back over here, and there we go. That's good. Cool, cool. All right, yeah. All right, we're back on track. I'm just gonna move StreamYard over here to another view. Let's do that. Streaming. Cool. Just so I don't accidentally close it. Okay. Yeah. So, and then we got two things here. We got entry client and entry server TSX. This is similar to like when I was working at Netlify on the Remix stuff. They have a similar thing. So if we look at the client side part here, so it's looking for an element by the app. And so like if we look for this, it should be in here. So this is the entry server, but obviously the client side stuff kicks in after. It's going to find this app element, and that's where the root, this is going to become the root of the app on the client side. And what else? Yeah, so it's just going to mount there and start client, which is a component, which, oh yeah, so sorry, that's a built-in client. Um, which I actually don't know. Well, I mean, I know it starts the client, but I actually don't know what the internals of this are. But that's within SolidJS. Cool. So that's all good. And yeah, so like I said, with the entry server, so we're starting the server. We got scripts, assets, which are I guess think of this like in React where you have helmet or frameworks now have like a meta section, but this is basically just getting passed in as a prop. This document prop, or actually this looks like a render prop actually. So like this is a pattern from React. Um, So basically, that document prop is a function and it passes in these things, and then we generate our HTML, which is what you see if you like view source here. So like we come over here, say view page source, you're gonna see I have it all zoomed in on purpose, but you can see here this is all the HTML, and you can actually see it's not just client side rendered, it's in the view source, which means this is literally what the server generated. And I can probably pretty print it. Hold on a sec, or line wrap it. So you can see here it's loading Vinci. This is just because, and then the build here for Vite. That's just so like we can get our fast refresh and stuff probably. And yeah, then in here, what else we got? Yeah, so you can see here, I'm actually giving a talk about fresh Dino framework next week at All Things Open, and you can see here. So this is you can see this syntax here, this exclamation mark. It's a HTML comment, and I think the dollar sign here means render this from the server. I think that's what that means. But basically, you get your initial value, and then from there, the client side stuff kicks in. And I'm curious if we look at the counter, yeah, so it starts off at 0. So I'm not sure how this works, like when it renders server side in the context of SolidStart, but like basically it probably goes, oh, just guessing here, but it's because it's going to generate the markup for the counter. And I think when create signal fires, if it's getting rendered on the client side, it just pulls out this initial value, I'm guessing. And like, so if I change this to 6 and we refresh this, come back to line wrap, we should see 6 in here now. Or 5, did I not change it to the right thing? What? Oh, I put it to 5, sorry. But yeah, so you can see there. So that's, I'm pretty sure it's somehow on the server. Create signal when it's server side renders obviously doesn't become reactive. At least I don't think it does. I don't I don't think there's a concept of reactivity on the server side at the moment. But anyways, I'm pretty sure create signal runs. It just goes initial value is 5, and then that's what renders in the markup that gets sent from the server the first time, or whenever it renders that page. So cool. All right, let's continue here. And then we got app TSX. So basically, this is going to be the router. I imagine this is the SolidJS router. Yeah, and you seem to be familiar with Solid Ode, but I remember reading somewhere that you can like there's the SolidJS router, but I think you can put in like TANstack router or routers that support the shape of what the router expects, like the API. But we'll find out as we go along. So essentially here we've got the router, we've got our title, we got our links at the top here, and then we've got the suspense boundary to just render the props. We can have a fallback probably. The children are going to render right away though, because there's nothing async happening there, I don't think. We could simulate that, but I'm not going to bother. And then, so in the router, we have all the file routes, and the file routes probably just get generated by reading the routes here. What else we got? Yeah, the public folder. So that's just static assets. The source, that's where we do all our stuff. And yeah, that's pretty much it. So let's look at the routing here. All right. It's kind of fun exploring a new meta framework. All right, I'm gonna drop a link to the routing here. We'll just pop that up there if folks want to check that out. And yeah, so it's file-based routing. This is probably not a surprise. Most meta frameworks, this is kind of like a table stakes kind of thing. And yeah, you define your routes by creating files and folders. So like you could have subfolders in the routes, and yeah, traverses the routes directory, and that's how it builds it with the file routes component. And then it says here, rather than manually defining each route inside a router component, file routes would generate the routes for you based on the file system. Okay, yeah, cool. All right. And yeah, so that's what we saw here. And then you've got like that render prop pattern here and just the file routes getting generated. And then we just got a basic page. This looks pretty standard, even if you're coming from Next.js or even Remix or other meta frameworks. So just welcome, and then, okay, yeah. This is all kind of standard stuff for file-based routing. So like if you go to blog, it knows to render blog.tsx. Um, you can have the nested routes, just basically subfolders. And then yeah, if it's just an index, you can just do like slash or just the folder name. And then the nested layout. So this is something that Next.js supports, Remix supports. I'm not sure about meta frameworks like Redwood. Um, I'm trying to remember if Fresh has nested layouts. I think they do, but um, anyways, we'll try to stay focused on SolidStart here. So if you want to create a nested layout, you can create a file within the same name as a root folder. Okay, so okay, I see. So let's just do one for fun. It's probably going to have an example here. Okay, yeah. So let's do this, and we've got our index. So I'm just going to create another one. This will be, let's see here. Let's create blog.tsx layout file. Yeah. Okay. And pretty sure the reason for doing this by having, let's just take this link down. By having the name of the layout as the folder where you want it to apply to, I think that just makes it easier when parsing the routes folder. So if we do new folder and we do blog, and then now we'll say like, what is it, blog one, article one, whatever. So let's do new file, article one, article one.tsx. And okay, so we've got our, just to show here, we've got our layout for blog. And then let's just create something in here. Maybe I should have gone with the blog one, but we'll call this, I don't know. We'll call it pets instead, maybe. Pets. And then what was in there? So this is just a div. And so like, just to make it obvious here. So I don't have Tailwind installed, but whatever. Just go here and say like background color, and we're gonna do, I don't know, yellow. And let's go into here and, I don't know, dog.tsx, export default dogs. Then sure, it's good. And let's go to here. Let's do pet slash dog. Okay, what did I do wrong? Pets. Interesting. What did I do wrong here? Let's take a peek. Blog. Oh, wait, did I do dogs? No, I did dog. Pets. Pets. Oh, whoops. Oh, yeah, it would help if I actually write this correctly. Here. What did I do wrong? Oh, yeah. It's a, would help, yeah, if I did that. Cool. Export default function. All right, that's a bit better. Okay, so you can see here. So if I change this now, pets, and let's do, I don't know, green, and then, okay, accessibility wise, that looks terrible. But you can see here, so already, so we have a layout for the pets folder, and we could probably do the nested layouts like they're saying. So if I undo this, let's put that back. And then I don't know, let's go in here, new folder, and let's say canine dot, yeah, canine, and let's put dog in there. And then let's make a new file again. Let's copy this one again. Let's put it here. Let's paste it in, and we'll call it canine. And then we're gonna just say, I don't know, gonna make it look really ugly, but border uh, one 4px solid purple. Okay, so this page is not found, which is expected. Let's go to canine. So here you have the nested layouts now. So yeah, exactly. Yeah, the export from pets. Yeah, yeah, we're all good there. So you can see here I have nested layouts now, and this is nice because you can have, and you can do this in Next.js. You can do this in Remix as well. Like you'll see there's outlets and stuff for the, I guess, kind of where it renders it in there. But in the in the case of Solid, I don't know. I think this is pretty straightforward. You can say like, okay, my top level layout for the pets folder is this, and then I have this other one, and this is kind of nice so that you can, instead of like having to wrap like each of those pages with like some kind of layout component, you don't have to. It just automatically does it for you, which is nice. And you don't even have to use stuff like outlet or anything, which I think is nice too. Um, it seems pretty simple in a good way. Simple doesn't mean easy. A lot of times simple solutions are very difficult to create, but consuming them, it's really nice. Okay, so we can see that, and yeah, there's this one too. This is a newer syntax for layout. So say we have blog index or blog index.ts. It would not be used. What does it say here? Creating a blog slash index.tsx or blog slash parentheses blog index.tsx is not the same as be used for an index route. Yeah, okay, that makes sense. And by default, it's saying the components that render for the route come from the default export and the index.tsx. But yeah, it can be difficult to find the correct index.tsx. So yeah, so here we can say like socials.tsx. So like if we rename this like um, example.com/socials, yeah. So this is just a different syntax. So you just don't have to have like index everywhere because that is really hard to parse. So like, let's just say I had another file here. And say it was index.tsx, and let's just put this in here actually, and we'll say uh, canines. The name here really doesn't matter because it's a default export, but let's delete this. And let's come back here and let's just go to canine. Okay, so we get our thing rendering again. But like you can see here, already got two index files here, and then like imagine you have more and more. Like you'll basically end up with n number of index files. So what they're saying here is you could actually just do this, I believe, and then you see it still renders. Now, if I renamed it to something else that doesn't match, it should. Interesting. Okay, it looks like the name doesn't matter, but I think for like readability's sake, you would give it the same name. And yeah, that works. And then if we do this, doggos, yeah, okay, cool. So that's not a requirement, but I think that's kind of nice because like I've definitely been in a scenario where I do Command P in like VS Code, and all you see is index, index, index. If you're searching for it like this, like obviously I only have one right now because I just renamed one, but if you end up seeing like 30, like it's just a little harder to grok. You can still see like the path it's in and stuff, but anyways, I think that's just a nice little DX win, but again, not necessary. Um, then there's other stuff. So like, what's it saying about the nested routes here? When you have a path that is nested, but wish for it to have a separate layout, you can escape the nested route, applying a name between it. Yeah. Okay. So users. Okay. Yeah. Okay. I see what they're doing here. This is again. This is just for structuring things. If you don't want to have them a ton of like subfolders. We don't have to go through all that, but yeah. And then there's the the ID. This is a classic where it's like you're just going to like blog article or user one, and it just knows to render it based on the replacing the ID with the param for the value, like here, the dynamic routes. And just gonna take a sip here. Sorry, a little thirsty today. Cool. And just gotta check something. I am on call at work, so just making sure nothing's on fire. Okay, we're good there. Cool. All right, let's get back to it. Yeah, so the dynamic routes, this is like a lot of this stuff is standard, like table stake stuff for all meta frameworks these days, file in the file-based routing space. So here, we could go to user slash one. So like we could do the same thing over here. Let's do, I don't know, ID, and then let's go here. And so like say we were to go to pets canine, and then we did one. This is going to give it 404 right now. That's expected. Um, and then so basically, if we come here, if you go into your page, yeah, so you got your params. So let's do this. And bum, bum, bum. Use params, need to import that. Cool. And then I could say props children, and I could also say like, I don't know, we could do, let's do this. Let's put a fragment here. And let's just put, I don't know, like a H2, because I think there's already an H1, and we'll call this canine params.id. Now, one thing to notice here is I didn't get IntelliSense for the ID, and I'm wondering if I can type that. Let's see. Okay, yeah. So I could do this and maybe like uh, ID number, maybe. What's it saying? With index. The number is not assigned with type string. Okay, so sure, let's say string then. It is a string technically. So now if I come here, I've got it. So I don't know if that can be implicitly typed or not. Not implicitly, sorry. Uh, I'm wondering if that can be inferred by SolidStart. We'll read on. But if we come back here now and I refresh this, what did I do wrong? So we've got pets, canine. Oh, should be under there. CFE SolidStart. Fragment can only be used at the top level in JSX, not under. Okay, sure. What did I do wrong there? We've got a div. We got a div. Oh, you know what? I don't even need the fragment actually. All right, so let's come back here. Okay, and we can see K91, and we've got some props there. Did I have any props? What was? Don't appear to have any. Okay, cool. Anyways, So we can see here, then we got file-based dynamic routing, so K92, etc. 3 just for good measure. Okay, cool. Apparently, I haven't seen this syntax before, but here, no, I'm going to zoom this in a bit just in case I'm out too far. But and I'm going to move these over to the scratch pad. Scratch pad. Yeah. It'll just be easier for me to keyboard navigate these than move to scratch pad. Okay, so if we go here, one, oh, that's email. Okay, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So 6, 7. Okay, yeah, cool. So we can have an optional parameter. This will match a route with or without a parameter. Okay, and then we got a catch-all route too. A lot of these things are really standard file-based routing stuff. I don't think I'm going to go through all of them. Okay, and then like here, yeah, it's a post. So yeah, so we can talk about the catch-all one real quick though. Um, it's forward slash delimited string of all the URL elements after the valid segment. For example, with this route, dot 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 post, add a URL path of like slash post slash foo. The params object return for the print will have a post property with the value of post slash foo. Okay, that makes sense. For a URL with slash foo slash baz, then it's the whole thing. So that's just another thing you can do. And then you can have route groups here. Let's look at this. Using route groups, you can organize your routes in a way that makes sense for your application without affecting the URL structure. Yeah, so this is kind of like when you don't need to have like deep folder structure potentially. So here, these are static files, and so let's just see what it says here. So um, since file-based routing is based on the file system, it can be difficult to organize. Yeah. So if we have route groups defined by parentheses surrounding the folder name, then we can say this. Okay. An additional route config. SolidStart offers a way to add additional route configuration outside of the file system. You can use the route export provided by file routes. Okay. So you could add an extra route, I guess, um, if you needed to. Okay, props, route section props, users. Okay, let's go to API routes. Okay, so yeah, so I mentioned server functions a bit at the beginning there. Vinci enables that stuff. And it's a good way that you can write server-side code uh, for data needed by UI, but sometimes we want to expose API routes. Could be very good reasons. It's not like API routes died or anything. And so let's see where you put the API routes. So okay, it's under API. So this is kind of like similar to Next.js. Like at least in the pages router, I haven't worked as much with the app router, so I can't remember if there is an API routes folder like this as well. But let's go ahead and create one, and we'll just say API, whoops, new file, API slash yo.ts. And yeah, so we can do all the verbs here for like making RESTful things. And so let's do like, for example, let's do a get. And then we'll say return yo. Sure. Okay, so now if we come over here and we do API slash yo, just returns HTML. just text here because we view a page source here. It's literally just text. I mean, technically that's would be considered HTML, but so that's one thing. But let's see if you return JSON.stringify, yo yo, sure. And I feel like you're gonna have to set headers probably, but let's see here. Get, yeah, okay, yeah. So get params. Okay, no, you can just return it. Okay, so let's do that. So let's just do return yo yo, and let's come back here, and there we go. We got just a JSON being returned here. So that's nice too. And if we view the page source, or actually, let's view the network tab. Sorry, uh, not this. Yo, API. Yo. Yeah. Now, if we go to the network tab here, let's just open this up real quick. Let's do fetch. Or well, actually, this is actually both. Okay. Yeah, it's the. There we go. Okay, so let's refresh this, and you're gonna see here. So headers. Let me zoom that in. And the nice thing here is you actually didn't have to specify the headers. So SolidStart just knows, okay, or maybe it's Vinci that just knows this, which SolidStart's using. So I'm returning an object, a JavaScript object, and it just knows to return it as JSON because you can see here the content type is JSON. And if we come back and do this, like let's just say, let's do, yeah, HTML. There we go. Okay. And I come back here. Now, if we look at, you see what's interesting is here it's JSON, here it's text HTML. So this is really nice. Uh, like you might want to return different headers potentially, but I like how this is just getting inferred based on what's being returned, and that's pretty neat. Okay, cool. And let's see here. And I'm not going to go through like the posts and the deletes and the puts and stuff, but you know, most of us have probably done some web dev with APIs. So like those are just the verbs for REST. So you know, if you want to do a form post, etc. Um, but yeah, no, that's really nice. Okay, session management. All right, so we got a. Okay, so this is the nice thing about solid start, but also like tan stack start or anything that's like using Vinci. Like it's just composing things together to build out what they want to do. And so like solid start doesn't have a get cookie, it's Vinci, you know. And it's like I don't know. I think that's just nice that this is like a huge utility belt of stuff in here. So we can get a cookie user ID, but if there isn't one, we could probably set one. In this case, it's just checking if the cookie exists, and if it doesn't, it can give a 403. Let's see. I won't go through GraphQL here, but it looks like you can build a schema, and then you can return a result based on wherever your your GraphQL is resolved. I haven't done a lot of GraphQL to be honest. Aside from a bit of GraphQL when I was using Gatsby a long time ago. Okay, that's good. You can also use TRPC. I'm not going to go through all these things just because we obviously don't have all day to go through everything, but there's a lot of stuff there with the API routes. We can look at CSS and styling, and so Vite provides a simple way to manage complex web apps for CSS. Okay, that's cool. All right, so you can just do regular CSS and then import it. CSS modules, these are, again, not SolidJS specific. It's just what they support. You can obviously install Tailwind too if that's your jam. Let's see here. There's a whole styling section here. If I just open that up briefly. Bum, bum, bum. Yeah, so Sass and less CSS modules. uh, CSS and JS stuff. There's a ton here. I don't know what macaron is or macaroon. I know what that is. It's a dessert, but I haven't heard of that library or framework. Got Tailwind, obviously, which is pretty popular these days. Uno CSS, which I think is from UnJS. I think Anthony Fu created that one. Anyways, there's a bunch. So let's close that, and then we talk about data loading, and we're getting close to time here, but that's all good. So let's see here. So on a page, so we can create a resource to go fetch something, and then we can get our payload, and then that is gonna put it into the users, and then we can map over them. So like this we can go ahead and do. Let's see here, because example.com is actually a site that exists. All right. Let's go in the index here maybe, and counter. Yeah, let's just get rid of all this. That should be good. And if we go back to the index, unexpected token. Okay. What didn't it like? Does that not exist? Slash users. No. Okay. Let's do http.cat. Okay. And the status code. Yeah, let's just do that. Let's just do, actually, you know what? Let's do, yeah, whatever. Let's just grab one. Gonna go for, I like the 100. It's obviously only gonna be one item, but user, that's not what it is, but let's see here. Unexpected token, JF, let's see here, what's going on? Uh-oh, something's popping up in my, okay, no, never mind. What is this? Sorry, something popped up on my work Slack. Just checking because I am on call, like I said. Okay, why is it not liking this? I think let's just do uh, public API, public free API. Should have looked one up before this, but that's all good. Animals, yes. Let's go cats. Pictures of cats from Tumblr. That sounds good. So let's do this one. And let's rename this to cat. Okay, and okay, so we got breed IDs. All right, let's see what this gives us. Really? Okay, that works. I obviously just need to figure out what the things are. So let's do this. Okay, and let's put a, okay, so what do we got here? Insert breakpoint. Or you know what? Let's just log it out. Console.dir users. Sure. It's not really users, it's cats, but whatever. Okay, let's refresh that. Console. All right, we got, okay, URL. Okay, so URL with type. Okay, that's good to know. All right. Let's close a few things here so we get some real estate back. I said URL, right? So let's do this. Bum, bum, bum. A image src equals user dot URL width user dot width height equals user dot height. Cool. All right, and close that. There's no alt text. I don't know the. We'll just put this for now. Okay, there we got our cats. Is there no name for them? ID, width, height. Okay, there's no name. But anyways, there we go. This is showing us it's getting the resources and it's rendering them, and this is bugging me. So let's just change this to URL. That's fixed. Width, number, height, number. Cool. And these are cats. This is a cat. Cool. That's better. And let's see what else here. What else did I want to? Okay, yeah. So it's going to re-render. It's random cats, obviously. Let me close the dev tools. Uh, these are massive, obviously, but what I want to just check here is I'm going to view page source. And the cool thing about this is the on the server side, it actually renders you have the props all here. Even though it's rendering the components client side with the 4, I guess, because I don't see any generated markup. Like if I look for this one, let's just do, yeah, it's just in the one place. Although that 4 component didn't render server side, maybe there's something I need to do to set that, but it actually generated the prop server side. So I have a feeling it's not like when it hydrates, like it's just got all the information already. But I am curious if there's a way to make it render the image server side, like the actual markup. Maybe I missed something. So when fetching inside components, encounter unnecessary waterfalls. To solve this, recommend to hoist the data fetching to the top. Okay, using some features. Okay. Okay, yeah. So I have a feeling there's this. Yeah, you can do this pre thing. Okay, so right now, like just the way we did it, like I was saying, it generates the props on the server side. They actually get rendered in the HTML payload, and then the client side kicks in and renders them. But I think here we can actually generate it on the server side. So export default page, const route, cache async. Okay, users. Okay, let's come here. Get users. Cache. Okay, so let's do this. I think this is get cat. Or you know what? I'm just gonna copy it. And I'm gonna leave my type there, but okay. And then we still got our cat. Um, don't need this. Okay, let's put cat and then okay, cat, cool. And then this is obviously not what we want down there. We want it to be the image again. Cat URL, cat width, height. Yeah, there we go. Um, let's see here. We can do. This should be just be cat. So cat. Whoops. Cat. There we go. And then this should just be, I don't know. It's not going to be good, but we'll say like cat, random cat. And then we'll say, I think there's cat ID, and then we'll just put the ID back in, not back, but we'll add it here. And whoops, URL. Okay, so that's good. All right, and then this should just be, we're just gonna do this lowercase cats. Okay, so what I can see here is, so we have this get cats, it's being cached. We'll read through this in a sec. It's saying preload them for the route, and then, okay, we'll read through this. Let's just see if this renders. Get cat, where maybe I missed something here. Get cats. All right, get cats. Oh, for each cats. No. Oh yeah, there we go. Okay, get cats. That seems all good. You know what? Let's just see here. What's it saying? So preload. The preload function is called once per route, which is the first time the user comes to that route. And then following that, the fine grained resources that remain alive synchronize. State URL changes to refresh the data when needed. There's probably that cache key that we have called cats. The data needs refresh. A refresh function return in the create resource can be used. Cool. Before the route is rendered, the load function is called. Does not share the same context as the route. The context tree that is exposed to the load functions is anything above the page component. Okay. On both the server and the client, the load function is called, so that's important. That's the isomorphic in action. The resource can avoid getting, can avoid refetching if they serialize their data in the server render. Okay. And only wait for the resources to fetch and serialize. The resource signals are accessed under a suspense boundary. Okay. Let me just copy this whole thing again. Okay, and example. Oh, I know what the problem is. That should be lowercase cats. No? Let's see here. Oh, no, I know exactly what it's. It's the completely wrong URL. Where was I? This is what I want. It is me, of course. So let's get our proper URL. And I think we should be good now. There we go. Okay, so we got our cats back. And the thing I want to check here is, I'll read through that stuff again in a second, but I want to view the page source. Let's wrap. Okay, so this is the difference. By doing it this way now, we have the isomorphic in action. So there are the props here. Still, I have a feeling this is for rehydration purposes, but we actually have the markup now. So like the random cats, the actual images are rendered on the server side, and that's what we want in this particular case. So that's cool. All right. I know we got a lot of other stuff to go through here. Kind of uh, kind of at time here, but I'm just seeing what else we can look at quickly. I'm thinking maybe we should do a second session of this actually. So I think next time what we can do is we can continue with the head and metadata and the other sections here. We'll even touch on the middleware and the sessions and request events, all this stuff. So yeah, I think that's a good place to stop. But I got to say, this seems very approachable. I mean, I do have experience with frameworks, but the documentation is really good here. And I like that. I mean, it's definitely got all the stuff that you expect in file-based routing. And I'm also liking the isomorphic stuff with Vinci here. We didn't touch on server actions, but we did hit some API endpoints, and also just like caching the response from our API call here and rendering that on the server so that it's available in the markup right away. and then also being able to reuse it on the client side if you need to. And like they were saying in the create resource, where is it? There's somewhere where there's a handle where you can refresh it. Where was it? In the create resource, they mention it down here. Yeah, the refetch function returned in the create resource can be used. So we didn't do that, but that's something that could be interesting too. Anyways, I think that's a great place to stop. Yeah, no, thanks, Ode, man. Thanks for hanging too. And yeah, so next month we're just going to continue on this. Lots of good stuff in here. And I think we'll see you in the next one. And with that, I'm going to try and be cool and end with our little logo here and see if I can press end stream real quick. I can't do both. Can I do both at the same time?